So my mom has this Defy microwave that takes this funny plate thing, and every couple of months it breaks and then you've got to have a new one done. When you go to Defy, they only have these, and spot the obvious. So I thought, well, let's just cut it with our machine. So I'm going to scan it to data first, because I would like to just do a test cut to see if it's going to in fact cut through. But it should. I mean, we use the scissors to cut it normally. So yeah, I'm just going to tape it down. So there it is, and I'm going to just do the outside. Oh, goodness gracious me. That does not do good. That just shows all the damage that's on the little thingy plate. Okay, let's do that preview. Did we change it to that one? No, even worse. Let me change it to that one. That one could sort of work. So I've just had a brainwave. There's way too much interference on my mat, and I can't use masking tape to hold this down because I'm scanning my masking tape. So what about if we take a white piece of vinyl and we use a mat saver again out of white? So yeah, there we go. And I'm going to just apply this white to my board so that it won't pick up any of the interference. So I've put a piece of white vinyl down as a mat saver. I'm just applying it with my brayer. This is still my original mat that I am using. And I have to say, you know what? The original Brother mats were horrific. And I have to really be honest here and say that Brother came to the party with a new machine. This machine isn't even in the same league as the 550 was. It's a whole new ball game. And for that, I love my baby. I love it. I mean, I love this baby too, but this baby is awesome. Right, so I have put my mat saver down, and I'm now going to just take off a piece of it. So I'll do this. There we go, and this should be sufficient for me to be able to hold it and scan it. Right, so there we go. It's nicely adhered to my mat now, and I'm not going to have that problem I was having just now. I'm going to load it in my machine. I just want to tell my machine to forget what I did just now. So, hold, yeah, yes, you're looking right. I've decided at the rate I'm going to lose them, it's just not worth it for me. So, let's just go to there. And I want to go to there, delete the pattern, yes. Okay, what do we want to do? We're going to start at the beginning again. I want to scan. And I'm going to go scan to cut data because I would like to keep this shape for 6 months' time. Because it's always going to be needed. So, okay, mat is not loaded. I love it when my machine tells me I'm stupid. And I load my mat. I just want to move everything behind my machine because I'm actually working at a bit of an angle here today. Right, and I'm now going to say, yes, I'm ready to start scanning. And I'm going to let it go through the machine and scan. Come out the back. Freaking awesome. And it'll come back through. And then I'm actually going to remove a piece. And I'll explain to you now why I'm doing that. So I want to just save that. And then I want to just see what happens when I cut this. So I just want to put that down. And I'm waiting for my machine to recognize. Great. So now we want to, I think we're just going to go over that outer edge. And it's so much easier when you don't have all that interference that it's picking up from my mat. So if nothing else, my mat is still sticky. I just have all these marks on my mat, and that's what the scanner picks up. So I love that I can do this and actually have a better understanding of what I'm doing. Great, so I'm going to say that's fantastic. And I want to save it to my machine, and it's going to save it for me. Now I'm going to just go to a test cut. And it is saved there. Thank you very much. And I can go back to my machine and I can delete my pattern. And oops, you see, I've already lost it. I just want to pick up my stylus. Right, so I'm going to just quickly do a test cut. I'm going to let the machine scan this piece so I can just see where I can do a test cut. Obviously I want to pick up that piece that's left on the mat there. Now it's quite a weird material, this. So yes, I want to do a test cut. I'm going to do a square. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can see it better. There we go. And I'm going to drag it onto this piece. And I'm going to say, yes, could we please cut it? So I've dragged that little piece onto there and I've said we want to cut it. And we're doing a test cut first. And we're then going to tell the machine to go ahead and cut it. And the auto blade is detecting that it is a very thick piece. It's not that it's thick, it's just a strange type of material. So that is the auto blade. And we've now got a problem because it has moved. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to quit the cut. And I'm going to go through that whole process again. I possibly should have taped this down. So what I'm going to do is I'm in fact going to tape it down. Because my piece actually moved, I'm going to let it scan the item again, and you'll see I've now taped it on all four sides. Okay, I'm going to move my test cut up now because I can actually see. Okay, and that's fine. I just want to move my test cut up to there. It's showing me where the original cut started, so I've moved it next to it. I'm going to say fine. We would like to cut, please. And we're going to say start. And again, the auto blade will determine the depths and the thicknesses and all the things that it needs. It's quite mind-blowing, this auto blade, I have to tell you. And it will continue and it moved again. So let's do that. We're going to quit the cut. Okay, so we've taped it down even better this time. And we're going to say scan it again. And if it doesn't work this time, we'll get the good old-fashioned scalpel out and cutting mat, and we'll cut it by hand. But I really think my machine should be able to cut this, so I'm just being my usual self. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to move my, I'm going to say we'd like to cut it. Thank you very much. And let's try that again. It should go through in 3 cuts, judging by the previous cuts. So it'll be interesting to see what it does. fantastic, and it tells me it is finished cutting. So let's see how that went. Not bad, hey? Not bad. It could have gone one more cut, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to cut it on the machine for what it's worth, and let's see. I think this could be a great fun. I'll be back with you in a second. Let me load it. Right, so we have secured it down very well, and I'm going to go to retrieve data from my machine. I know it is the very last pattern, so I'm going to just jump ahead to there. And I'm going to say, yes, that's perfect, thank you. And I'm going to scan this media in. So I'm going to scan this piece in. I just want to... Perfect. And even if it just... I could have actually just loaded a pen. And I'm going to say, yes, that's fantastic. I'm going to put my piece on there. I can see. I'm going to say, okay. I want it to come down. Perfect. I'm going to say, okay. What are we going to do? We're going to cut. I'm not going to do a test cut because we've already done a test cut. We know it does cut through. So I'm going to go start, and my machine's going to cut it for me. How awesome is that? Next I'm going to try cutting a gasket. I have to show you out the window. That is my Cocker Spaniel sitting on the table. She's grabbed her brother's teddy bear, which is behind her, and she's sitting on the table so he can't get to her. She's teasing him. Fantastic. And there we have it. It's finished cutting. I'm going to remove it off the mat now, and I'll show you in a moment how it worked. And there you go. It's absolutely perfect, with the exception of this corner that I just need to trim. It looks great. There we go. And I can go put it back into the microwave. Chat to you later. Bye.